Welcome back, everyone, to Car Mechanic Simulator 2021. And in today's video, we're going to pick up right where we left off, where we're going to be giving some love to the Golf R here, as well as this Audi TT. So this is a 1.8T Audi TT. You guys saw in the last video, we started it, made sure it ran, all that stuff. We said goodbye to our RS2, which kind of sucked, but we're immediately picking that up with another Audi project. So this is, like I said, a 20-valve turbo car, the 1.8T, 5-valve per cylinder. Really unique design for the time. Not a lot of companies did 5-valve per cylinder, and Audi and Volkswagen were one of the groups that did it with the 4 cylinders back in the day. But our main focus today is going to be on this Golf R. So this is the car that I said in the last video serves as kind of a quote-unquote runabout. It kind of just sits out here outside the shop and is meant to just, be like, oh yeah, the tech's here kind of deal, like, realism, immersion. So we're going to move it into the shop today because we're going to make this car a full bolt-on build. So I'm going to, I guess, swap it out with the 964. I'll move the 964 outside. So in the shop now, we're going to, like I said, we're going to work on this at some point too. My ADHD is kicking in hard. This car is going to be a bolt-on build, so nothing too crazy. So we are going to, well, if I can, it's not one to play nice. Why is it not playing nice? All right then. Well, I guess we'll do this from the underside if it'll let me. We're already gonna be taking the exhaust off, so might as well do that. So I think so. Yeah, we'll take this part off, and then we got the rear muffler, and we've got a mid muffler here. So we're gonna go ahead and take all that off. I don't think, do we have a turbo to worry about in here? Okay, we do. Okay, so we may mess with that. I think we're going to start with just a full bolt-on build um, and go from there. We'll mess with the turbo if we have to, but it's not on my radar currently. So let's bump up here. There we go. Since the game is wanting to be jank. Oh, so it says accessible to the engine bay, but I can't get the engine cover off. Okay, so we got a large intercooler, so we're going to go and remove that as well. So we need a handful of exhaust components, and then obviously the intercooler. So this is a large intercooler. We're going to go ahead and get that dealt with. So let's scroll. I feel like I'm literally just hovering above. There it is. I knew it was around here somewhere. I don't remember which air filter this car needs, but we're going to go ahead and go to our exhaust. I know it needs a overhead valve V8 rear section. So I'm trying to find that. Rear exhaust section, maybe. Unless I'm missing it, which is probably likely as well. Where is that? So we need a middle muffler, I believe. And then we're going to need the rear exhaust muffler. Where is that hiding at? Is there really not a performance version of that? Let's see, I'll just type V8 here. We'll just look this up right here. Let's see. There it is. I knew it was in here. And I can't remember what front exhaust section we need for this car. So we're going to go ahead and put our intercooler in. We're going to scoot back down here. So we need front section A for the inline 4B. There we go. Or down pipe, if you will. Cool. Alright, so that just leaves the rear muffler to go on now. So there we go. We got our full exhaust ready to go. Obviously, I'm going to put the rear section on the car in a moment. So let's scoot back up here. So like I said, we're going to leave the stock turbo on, which I believe is the Continental turbo in the real cars. And then we're going to try to figure out getting this freaking engine cover off so we can put the air filter in. Excuse me. I blanked for a second there. All right. Where's our Mark 8 Golf R? We're going to see its rear clamshell was what the exhaust component was called. It looks like that's the only option we had was the factory one. So we're just going to go ahead and reinstall that. So there we go. Got our tips back on. All right, let's drop the car down. I am going to leave like the stock tires and stuff on it right now. We may throw some wheels on it at some point. But right now, that's not my prerogative. See, here's the thing. Why is it not let me take this dang cover off? But it looks like it worked out for me anyway, because we can just snake in down here. Alright, so we can just have another generic air filter. Did I buy another one already? I did. How handy is that? Alright, we'll go ahead and pop the cover back on, and we'll throw the clips on. And I think that will conclude the bolt-on build on this car. I think that's about everything for bolt-on. We got downpipe, intercooler, full exhaust, and the air intake now. So this thing should be good to go for a dyno run. Let's go ahead and move the car over the dyno. Alright, so this car came with 320 horsepower. So this car only has a couple thousand kilometers on it. We're going to see how much power it makes on the dyno with just these bolt-ons. So it shouldn't have a whole lot of engine wear loss, but we'll see. Survey says 326 horsepower. Okay, so it didn't really gain a whole lot of power, which kind of sucks. I was expecting a little bit more out of it, but that is not what we got. So I bet I bet if we take the turbo off there, we'll be able to really dial that in. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe I'll see how hard it is of a job, because I don't want to spend a whole lot of time with this today. Granted, we're only a few minutes into the video, so it's not like we're, really hurting for time. So it looks like, oh, it comes off on its own. All right, let's go ahead and just buy the upgraded turbo. I don't need a headlight. Might be, is it going to be an exhaust? It's not going to be an exhaust. Okay, I figured it might be there. So we need the turbo for inline 4B. There we are. So this is going to be similar to like the Power Max, I guess. The Garrett Power Max for these cars. Fresh turbo. This should free up a good bit of more power. So also, I guess while we're in here, I'm going to go ahead and replace the coil packs and spark plugs. I didn't think about that. You think having built a big turbo GTI, I would know exactly how to do all this stuff, because I've done this in real life. This exact process is something I've done in real life. These plugs are definitely on their way out, so it's a good thing we're replacing them. Let's go ahead and buy a new set of spark plugs as well, and some coil packs for it. I bet this car with a fresh engine would be bonkers, but I think we're obviously not going to do too much work with this one, because this isn't meant to be another crazy project. The i30N is going to be a crazy project that will be sold at some point, and we'll work on that probably here in a little bit. We'll start working on the engine, get a little bit through the engine build on that car today in this video. But yeah, our fresh coil packs are on. Is there a fuel rail I can do? Does this thing need some fuel rail work? I mean, I know the real one's direct injected. So yeah, it does have fuel injectors on it. Can I take them off easily from here? I can. Let's go ahead and do upgraded fuel injectors as well. We're just going to go full kill at this point. Oh, well, I can't see anymore. Let's see, that's the V6B throttle body, so I need to keep that in mind. Okay, that should be all 4 injectors, so we'll go ahead and buy throttle for V6B, wherever that's hiding at from me. So we'll go ahead and get a throttle body, and then we need to get fuel injectors for the i4B. Cool. Alright, so we need to take the throttle body off. Which is something you typically don't see on the real life cars, like when people build these cars in real life, but why not? We're just going to build this thing for fun. Trying to remember where that other throttle body came from. I think my 2.8 VR6 project I did. off camera before I started doing these videos. Which, I'll probably show that car off at some point. Alright, now we're just full kill. We got upgraded turbo now, we got upgraded throttle body, spark plugs, injectors, coils, whole nine. Alright, let's go ahead and do some body work. We're gonna go and remove. I'm just gonna replace the whole front clip. We're just gonna replace everything. The whole car is getting redone. Screw it. We'll just make this thing nice. We're in sandbox mode for a reason. There's no concept of funds. We'll just replace everything. I don't know which seats these are. I'll deal with that later. But the main thing is just going to be buying all the stuff for the Golf R. Alright, so we're going to come here. I can't remember. I can't tell which one's which. I don't know. We'll just buy that. We'll get this light up badge for the front. And we'll get a black grill for it. Go ahead and get a door, window, fender, door, window, fender, and there's a carbon hood I see there. I think I just bought a second fender by accident. So we need to get the body windows, a rear bumper, some mirrors as well. Alright. I think that is all the components we need here to put this car back together. Alright. I'm just replacing everything. This car is going to be bent. We're just going to make it perfect. I didn't take the windshield off, but I did buy a spare windshield for it, so. We'll put our piano black grill on, which looks really good. And our light up badge, which I think is a nice touch. I'm not going to put a front plate on this car because where I live, we don't have to. Which thank goodness for that, because it ruins cars. Okay, we're going to put our trunk back on. Alright, we'll just put that spoiler back on. What is it, car part 1 or something like that? Yeah, there's the spoiler. Might as well go ahead and buy a fresh spoiler for it. I'm going to go ahead and put the taillights back in as well. We'll go ahead and remove the spoiler. Pop our new one on that we just bought. I think everything else is good, so I think we are ready to go to get this car in the paint shop. We're going to actually let's do the car wash first because it does charge money if we don't wash the car first. There we go. Honestly, isn't a bad looking car in black, but obviously I'd rather it be painted black instead of you know, primer black. All right, so the car is already the factory blue. Fresh paint goes a long way. Looks so much better. We'll probably mess with this a little bit more. Probably bring it back in the shop every once in a while and put some wheels on it maybe. Let's go ahead and move her over to the dyno and see what kind of power this thing makes now with its new setup. So it pretty much made just under the factory horsepower before. It made like 318 horsepower, something like that. So let's see what it does now with a fully built setup. I mean, other than the engine being forged and all that stuff and rebuilt, big turbo, all that stuff. Don't let me down. So full bolt on, it made like 318 horsepower. Let's see what it does now with the full kit. $385 horsepower. That's pretty respectable. It's not as much as I would have hoped, but I mean, it is a fairly respectable amount of power for this car, all things considered. So I'll take it. I mean, that's respectable. So now, I guess without further ado, Let's go drive it. I know the interior is still gunked up, but let's go enjoy it. We're going to go to, let's try out this other Gran Turismo ported track, beginner course. So it's a lot smaller of a course. So unfortunately, the digital cockpit doesn't work on this one. Good old driving park beginner course. Oh gosh, I've bended immediately. Okay, so there is a camera feature. Definitely not something I want to play around with while driving. So it doesn't look like there's checkpoints on this track to register lap times, but it does drive really well. It's really grippy. I think some proper tires on this thing will go a long way. It does drive really well, though. That's a sweet car, though. All right. So that was fun. This thing's great. I actually really like this car. So now we're back in the dyno. I mean, that means I can put the 964 back here. So we're going to go ahead and move this back outside, put it where the 964 is. And I think that will about wrap this one up. So got the Golf R dealt with, and it's in a much better shape now. It makes a lot more power. Well, than it did when we first got it. It definitely doesn't make as much as I was hoping it would. But it's a full bolt-on setup now with a bigger turbo. It's really fun. Next time out, we're going to be building this Mark 1 TT as a quick flip, and we'll get started with that. So thank you all, and I'll see you guys later.